Hey kids, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have the Thunderbird, the Gibson Thunderbird back on the bench, my own personal bass. I did a few things since the last installment. This is the second video in a two-part series. I'm going to show you what we did and catch you up on where we're at. We were talking about mostly changing out the bridge and putting it back to the original, which I have done. Refer to the first video, how we were fitting it and checking things out and some of the problems we ran into, and now we have corrected it. These are donor strings. They came off of it. I may or may not keep them, but I was looking down here, and you know, I never like to take strings off and put them back on an instrument, whether it's a bass, a mandolin, a guitar, it doesn't matter. They look like they're separating a little bit, especially on the E and the A. But I digress. We're just going to do the setup for the purposes of today's video. The main thing is, remember, in the last video, I had swapped out the barrel jack back here. Let me get in the video. The barrel jack, the output jack, and I was not at all happy about it because it has been changed several times in the life of this guitar. And refer to that video. I do not like those barrel jacks. They are prone to corrosion and crap and stuff gets in them, and they're tone and power suckers when they start to build up that greeny, goopy crap that gets in them. It's just overuse. So yeah, I took that thing out after I put it in, made it work, and this is what I did right here. I approximated to a vintage style Thunderbird. This one is from, I'm going to say it's 25 years old. I've had it for a long time, and you know, it was on the road with me for many, many, many years. It may even be 30 years old. It doesn't really matter, but the original Thunderbirds, that's where the output jack was, and I got measuring and fooling around in there, and yeah, that's what I did. I modified it. It's my bass. I can do whatever the hell I want, and yeah, it works like a charm. We have strung it up, and we're getting ready to do the setup on it. Just because we changed the bridge back to the original, we're going to have to start from scratch, and that's what today's exercise is. I have it kind of set where I think it should be, the height and the intonation, just by measuring and stuff. But that and a dime will get you a cup of coffee, so let's do it the right way. So, as always, you got to know where you start to where you're going to end up. The first thing we're going to do is neck relief, as I always do, and yeah, it has opened up a lot. Like I said, I started playing this recently, and it was playing okay, yeah, but I knew there was a problem with the output jack that was in it. So that led us to where we went there. But yeah, it's been about a year, and like I tell all my clients, if you don't remember the last time you did a setup on your instrument, it's probably overdue. And here I am, finally working on one of my own guitars. It's got too much neck relief in it, so we're going to adjust the truss rod here, toot sweet, and do a setup on it, make it play right, and then I'm going to go rock and roll with it, as I do. Gibson. So I know it's got too much neck relief. We're going to take some of that out. In other words, we're going to tighten it up. We have too much forward bow in it. We're going to bring it up to a little bit straighter condition, if I can get my tool down there. Oh, I got the wrong one. I forgot. I totally forgot which the hell one it is. You would think it would be 5/16 like every other one. That's how long it's been since I did a setup on my own guitar. I don't know. I know it's not 7mm. Dumbass. It's not 5/16. Yes, it is. Of course it is. So let's tighten it up. I was going to say, how the hell could that not be 5/16? Because it's not. That's why. Yeah, I know what it is. I know what it is. Here's my nut driver. I know what it is. Pretty sure I know what it is anyway. Oh wow, it has been longer than I thought. It has been longer than I thought. Well, I'm gonna pause. I gotta go get the right. I have to go get the right tool. I don't have the right tool. Don't you guys love it when I stump myself? All right, stand by. Sorry about that, kids. Yeah, I'm a boob. It is 5/16. Of course it is. It's a Gibson. I had the wrong goddamn wrench in my hand. I gotta get a new pair of glasses. So we want to tighten it. And tighten it quite a bit. It was really, really forward though. Don't want to leave that in there. And my latest mantra is always be tuning. Make sure you're up to string pitch so that you have the right amount of string tension, because it can make a difference. That should get us closer to where we want to be. I think I may have gone a little too far with it. Yeah. Whoops. Oh, I'm having a great day. Back it off slightly. Try it again. I always remember this guitar being really responsive to adjustment. That's why I went too far. And man, once you get it set up and get playing with it, you literally have to throw it out a second-story window to make it go out of tune. That's a little tight, but I'm going to leave it there and see where it leads us. It's really, really, really close. Now, setting the string height, and I believe that's why I originally didn't want to use this anymore. It was, you can't, it's set up just like a tune-o-matic, but it has a forward leveling screw. So this is your treble side, this is your bass side for string height, and this is to make sure that your bridge is level, which it isn't quite exactly level right at the moment. It's tilting up slightly in the front, but it is quite dramatically mimicking the radius of the board. So if you look at it this way, you can see that the strings in the middle are just slightly higher than the either side. bass or treble, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You can see the radius in the bridge. The other one wasn't like it. It was more of a Fender style of adjustment where you could take each saddle up or down and follow that radius the same way. So let us see where the string height actually is now. I'm kind of curious because all I did was guesstimate this using a straight edge to get my saddles and bridge set sort of an acceptable point. I'll be surprised if it's where it's supposed to be. It's, yeah, well, it's right there. The middle ones are going to be a little taller. I think we need to bring it up slightly, but not a lot. And then we're going to play it and see what it feels like. I think we're going to bring, we're at 5/64 and 4/64. It's too low for my playing style. I'm very aggressive. If you can't tell by the wear marks where I put my thumb. This one was actually from, I think, jewelry and shit I had on my arm. But every once in a while I would have my thumb there, but this was mostly my thumb style. Wore it right through to the wood. All the finish is gone. So we're going to bring it up slightly. It's set where I would have a Les Paul, but not a bass. And I know how this player plays. Now, if you're going to try to adjust this with string tension, be very, very careful. If it fights you at all, stop and loosen the tension off. These do not like to be adjusted with tension. They will feel like the bolts are locked up. So guess where you think you want to come up to, and then check your center forward bolt to make sure that the bridge itself is level. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to give it 1/4 upturn. You want your bridge, all the same rules apply. You want your bridge level with the body, level with the plane of the guitar, as it were. Tune her back up. We're not picking up here. Could be too far away from the pickups. Get back up to pitch, or as close as you can get before you take your next measurement. Come on, baby, get there. Yeah. Now with that adjustment, I just want to double check. Loosening all the way down and then bringing it back up to tension. I want to make sure that our truss rod adjustment didn't do something funky on us. And it's pretty much where I left it. It's tighter than I would usually set it, but I know what this instrument will bear. Yep. Believe it or not, this is probably the lowest action I'll ever play on any one of my basses. It's lower than any of my Fender type. Still a little low. It's better. But I think we need to come up slightly. And if I could get a half a turn without taking all the tension off. Nope. I want to bring it up slightly. this could be one of the reasons why I decided to get rid of that, because they are finicky. You can't adjust them without taking all the string tension off. Yeah. And again, make sure that you're level. As much as possible. Yep. And rinse and repeat. It gets tedious. But as I said, I even compared it to a Floyd Rose. That's how finicky they are. Not that it's a whammy bar system or a tremolo system, but they're just finicky. They take a long time to get set in to get them to settle. But once they're set, they're bulletproof. All right, one more time. String height. The lottery says that's what I want to see. 6 and 6. Now I know the middle ones are going to be taller than that, but that's just because that's the way it's going to read. If you try to read them here on the same point that you're reading either side, they're going to be higher by about a 64th of an inch, because that's just the way that is. But believe me when I tell you, that's the way they are. Design flaw? I don't know, maybe. But once you're playing it, you don't even realize it. And believe it or not, if you get on a Les Paul and you measure each individual string across, they're gonna start out. You set it at 5/64ths here and 4/64ths there. If you check every one of those strings, the middle ones will get higher and then come back down. Gibson, I don't know. They got to do things differently. You know, they didn't think Leo Fender had it right. Where is our intonation? So far, so good. I find it hard to believe that thing sat all these years and it didn't change. Wow. Yahtzee. You believe that? Well, unless the Guitar Fairy came in the middle of the night and was messing with my parts bin and moved that. There's really no reason for them to have moved. I had it all taped off. That's pretty cool. I like that. I wonder not a buzz to be heard. I think I'm going to change these strings. They look pretty good, but they feel pretty grungy. I'm going to plug it in and see if it doesn't blow out the microphone too much. Turn the volume and the gain down. There we go. Wonder. Are we going to get in the vid? Yeah. Let's see what it plays like. sounds horrible out of this amp, I know, but little Blue Oyster Cult for you. I like it. Yeah, these strings have to go. They're a little grungy. They feel grungy. They look pretty good, but they feel grungy as hell. So they must have been on there longer than I thought. So I'm my own worst client. How long has it been since you changed your strings? I don't remember. I have to start putting a little piece of blue tape on the back here with the date when I change my own strings, because I work on everybody else's instruments and never get to mine. You follow? Nope. That's a little far away. That's a little far away. I could explain why it didn't sound so good coming through that amp. Everything sounds terrible. I think we're okay there. We're okay there. Nope, that one's too close. I've always thought about putting better pickups in this guitar, but I just can't bring myself to modify it. Oops, I already did. Blackjack with 396 guitars. Worked on my own Thunderbird today. Human. I don't know why I thought that was other than a 5/16 and the truss rod adjustment, but I was having one of those days. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate that you ask questions. I try to answer them all. If you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. We'll talk soon.